Good morning, traders. Manny Cabrera from MDC Trading Academy. We're a pre-market forecast for today, June 1st, first day of June, and we're going to do our weekly preview. Let's go to our news items for the week, our calendar. We have OPEC meetings all day today. 10 a.m. today, we have ISM Manufacturing PMI. On Wednesday, ISM non-manufacturing PMI, and on Friday, we're going regarding the unemployment rate is one of our important economic indicators. It happens at 8:30 in the morning, an hour before we start trading, but it may or may not impact the day as we progress. Let's go to our daily chart where we start our analysis. As you can see, the market is just continuing its relentless march to 3,000. I think that's the water tread line here. That where the market is wanting to head to ultimately. I think in the pre-market we reached 2850, 2880, 50. Market has strength, market has direction, market has volume. Volume, yes, that on Friday was over a million, even though we're averaging a little bit over 989. The last several sessions we've had markets way over a million, which is really good for us. And of course, remember, we always move slower to the upside, but the market still continues to the upside. I think 3,000, I think that's the watermark that we're trying to reach. What happens when we get there, only nobody knows. But I think that's why the market wants to go. I think we're 19 and a half points away from it on the S&P 500. Let's look at our projection chart here, because this is really interesting here, how all of these areas that you see up here, including this high, the all-time high, was something that we had projected weeks ago. Weeks ago. We had projected these weeks ago, and if you see, we project them forward, and you can see the market clearly going straight, like a straight arrow right to them. Remember, we're in a real deep, tight compression here for several days here, and the idea was we had this trend line where you see all of the buyers holding the market up. Eventually, that compressing triangle broke to the upside. We didn't expect it to run that quickly to the all-time highs. It actually gapped over the all-time highs, used the all-time highs, previous all-time highs, as support, and it shot right through. So, what are we expecting today? Well, let's look at our analysis chart here. And here's where we are. Where are we? Here we go. As you see, here's the intraday high of Friday, the intraday low of Friday. We clearly broke through. Here's the good old gap. We actually gapped above the all-time high, and it came back and used it as support, as I mentioned, and we shot right through. So, plenty of areas to retrace. I don't think we may run immediately to the upside, but we have a clear support area, a clear resistance area up here. Market is trying to keep its strength to the upside, but there's a very clear line of extinction here. I think this line here is kind of like our north south line for now. We have a clear descending triangle, ascending triangle. We have a little bit of pressure there. But what's going to happen? This is going to break either one of two ways. It's going to break slowly to the upside, come to retest these all-time highs, and maybe establish new ones, and or it's going to come find some support way down here and potentially come down to the all-time high prior to the one that we set this morning. And if the market wants to pick up some speed, and we can always come down a little. I don't expect us to be coming anywhere near this area today. I think we're going to be, if we retrace, I think the deepest we're going to retrace is probably right about here somewhere, maybe somewhere in here. But I think the market, just with the good news it received from the G20 meetings, I think the market is feeling really positive. So I'm expecting a little bit of movement to the upside. We're expecting a lot of movement today. If you can notice, we have a lot more volume in the pre-market than we did in the previous session. So we're expecting the market to move a little bit more fluidly and have a bit more activity. Let's go to our trade chart here. It's more of the same. There's our resistance area up here. This was an area that had moved from this lower area up to here. We do have a micro trend line to the upside here, but here's our gap. And remember, with gaps, markets tend to try to go refill those gaps. But as I mentioned before, we have plenty of areas where we can find support. We can find support here. We can find support here at the bottom part of the gap, and we can find support here. I don't think the market is going to be moving any lower today to this area. I think it's going to stay within this realm here. I think the market wants to try and move higher, so we'll see. But that's our first look at the market. We're expecting market to hold this trend line, micro trend line. If it doesn't hold that trend line, then we go back and revert back to our next time frame, which is this one here. And we have that I believe I'm talking about the same thing. Let me just double check that. No, that's the micro one. This is the macro one. This is our macro one, but it's still the same area. It's pretty much the same area that kind of concurrent. We're expecting the market to hold this area, potentially move lower, potentially try to fill the gap, but ultimately the market's going to go higher. So have a great trading session. Let us know if you have any questions.